Yeah, boy.
Bum, 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 bum. Boom, 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 boom. It's no secret that the Silent Hill games have brought some of the most interesting horror narratives in gaming. And it's the father to great psychological storytelling and lore. But along with this comes its amazing setting and tone using its ambience and creative set pieces. A lot of my love for ambient sounds come from Silent Hill, whether it be creepy, unsettling noises of metal crashing into each other, or ethereal, soft, and calming sounds, soothing enough to put me to sleep. Silent Hill has always been a great example of a game using its sound to totally immerse the player into its world. And with that, I thought it would be really fun to revisit the soundtracks from the trilogy of Silent Hill games and give my top 10 of from each. It won't be easy at all, seeing that I love most of the soundtrack from these games. I'm looking at you, my beloved. But it'll be fun nonetheless. Don't get mad at me, but I've never actually played Silent Hill 1.
Is this nigga serious?
But I've seen my favorite content creators at the time play it, and I've watched streams of speedrunners completing it many times to say that I know the game pretty well. This game is what set the stage for the Silent Hill franchise and its glorious OST with its unsettling, soothing ambience, and I owe it a lot of respect for that. Compared to the other games, it isn't as OST rich in my opinion, but there are still a few bangers in there. Perfect track to start this list. A bunch of metals clanging. This is probably the only track I'll have like this on the list, since I believe all tracks like this accomplish their goal in the time they are played really well. But to me, this one perfectly encapsulates the horror and chaos you'll find in Silent Hill. Just the track alone throws you in a panic in-game, and that's how you know it's a good one. One of the few tracks in this game that is just soothing as fuck to listen to. Don't let the high placement of this track fool you. This is one of the best soothing tracks in the game, and definitely one to add to your sleep playlist. This is a really quick track that plays in one of your verbal encounters with Lisa, where she confesses how scared she is and how she needs you around. It starts with a very eerie presence, but when the piano starts to hit, you gain a sense of calming, but you still feel that uneasiness, which I believe is great for the time it's being played, since Harry's trust with Lisa is starting to waver because of her weird connection to the town. One of the first tracks you're blessed with in this game. It starts out really somber and smooth and starts to sound mysterious when the bass kicks in. Really fits the mysterious nature the characters find themselves in, trying to figure out what's going on, while fitting the overall type of vibe the rest of the OST gives. Alright, so this one is kind of different from the rest of the tracks here. It doesn't really give a Silent Hill vibe to me, but I'd be lying if I said it wasn't a banger. This is one of those Silent Hill tracks you'd probably think you heard being sampled by an underground rapper once, but don't remember the name of said rapper, and that's a compliment low-key. This track is one of those soothing tracks that kind of give a mysterious vibe, almost like you're trying to find the missing piece to a puzzle, or exploring a very mysterious place. Fitting, I know. This track is just as good as the previous track for similar reasons, but I simply just like this one better. I can't tell you why, but it just fits the vibe better. This is one of the more iconic tracks in this game, since it's played in one of the more memorable cutscenes of the game. This track gives off a very emotional vibe to it, which makes sense in the context it's being used in. Sounding somber, like you just lost something or someone dear, and now you're reflecting and beginning to move on. Or something like that. This one was really close to being number one for real, cause this is hands down the best track Silent Hill 1 has to offer, in my opinion. This track alone encapsulates so much emotion, making you feel sad towards the beginning, but also hopeful for a brighter future the more it goes on. And you feel the progression of that hope in the second half of the track. Truly one of the greats of this game. Are you really surprised? Look at the name of the track, buddy. How can this not be number one? Now, I do think if this track wasn't iconic, Tears of would definitely be in its place, but I got to put respect on this track. I really do. When you think of Silent Hill 1, or hell, Silent Hill in general, you are hearing this track. This track is the staple of the franchise, and is why you hear it in every Silent Hill teaser trailer in the most recent games that either never came to be, or we can hope to come to be. A well-deserved king of the Silent Hill 1 throne. Y'all not gonna be surprised with the amount of glazing I'm about to perform on this game. Silent Hill 2 is the more widely known Silent Hill game, standing out with its deep emotional and psychological storytelling versus the other games. There's a reason that this specific Silent Hill was the only one that got a remake. This game is truly God's work when it comes to the story, monster design, lore, and music, baby. This is a game where I can confidently say that its entire soundtrack is just goated. Usually most games will have one or two or maybe a few bangers, but to have your entire selection hit is crazy. This top 10 list is one I really had to think about because most of these songs in the game are just chef's kiss. Crazy how I put the most iconic track for the Silent Hill franchise as number one for Silent Hill 1, but put arguably the second most iconic as number 10 for Silent Hill 2. That just goes to show you how goated this soundtrack is. But for real, this track is iconic for a reason. Even though it was first played in this game, it really gained its fame from the live-action Silent Hill movie, which was actually pretty decent retrospectively. This is a banger, and one of the reasons I never sleep on the piano. This track is the embodiment of eerie, yet soothing as fuck. Every time I hear it, I imagine myself walking down an empty road, just taking in the bliss of loneliness, letting the wind slap my face. God, it's such a good track, and it's only number 9. Aw, man. One of the best soothing and ethereal ambience of this game. Imagine hearing this looking out of your window on a nice rainy day from your bedroom. Oh my God, it's like daydreaming when listening to these tracks, I swear. This track is actually one of the few tracks that's just straight up a banger. It isn't particularly smoothing and not eerie at all, but it's still a really good track that still feels like Silent Hill with that soft violin playing in the back to give it that extra touch of beauty. This is more widely known as Pizza and Bowling, since it plays when you encounter Eddie eating pizza in a bowling alley. Very on the nose, I know. This is one of my personal favorites that I can listen to over and over and over again and not get tired of. There's just this feeling about it that invokes a weird sense of nostalgia. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I can't put my finger on why I feel this way about it. All I know is that when this played in the remake, I was vibing out. Look how they have it playing from the theater. I could just stay here and just... Like, this is... that's such a banger, bro. Oh my god. Y'all see that? Y'all knew this would be in top 5. This track always had a place in my heart when it comes to Silent Hill 2, because it's such a different setting from the rest of the game in that it feels like a safe room kinda, and the abandonment of it makes it feel off, but accompanied by this banger makes that abandonment fill you with peace, weirdly enough. Like you are happy to be alone, enjoying the neon light filling the room, looking at the empty bottle of alcohol on one of the tables. Playing Silent Hill 2, I dead took a pit stop here just to enjoy this masterpiece of a track. Truly one of the GOATs, no questions asked. This is just a beautiful track through its entirety. When a track like this makes you think of old times with old friends or family, or just reminisce of good times in general, it's a banger for sure. Damn. How many times have I said banger in this video? The definition of sadness. And it fits so well in the scene that it's played in. It starts off upbeat and somber, but when that piano hits, oh my god, the emotions hit all at the same time. This deserves top 3 for how well it supports the emotion of the story told so far, and finding out the crushing truth about James. This track, I'm not gonna lie to you, I've had very emotional times with this track. Whenever I wanted to release pent-up emotions, cry everything out, this track was always there to comfort me. The sound is just so peaceful, putting you in a mental space to confront your emotions and deal with them in the most healing way possible. It's an understatement how beautiful this track is. If there are thoughts you've not been wanting to think about, emotional memories you've blocked, or just want to step out of reality and into your own mind, I implore you to put on headphones and listen to this track. I'm telling you, it will help you. This track is the best track in Silent Hill 2 for me, and it's not the reason you may think. I'm all for a track just sounding nice, and I believe this track fits that criteria very well, but the presence this track has in the scene that it's used in is probably the most effective in this entire game to me. Angela's story in the game has always been one of the most tragic. Sure, we are following James as we uncover his dark past, but Angela's story was always subtly hinted at, and unless you were paying attention, you won't know why Angela is the way she is. But when you do, and you reach this cutscene with this music, it hits like nothing ever could. And when she delivers that line after James comments about the fire, oh man, truly a masterpiece.
It's hot as hell in here.
You see it too. For me, it's always like this.
This Silent Hill is probably the one I have the least familiarity with. Even though I've seen gameplay and heard the soundtrack for it years ago, I've only played it for the first time about a year ago, emulating it on my Steam Deck. Hell, I even finished it because I haven't touched my Steam Deck in a long time. Probably collecting dust somewhere. Look what I found. Oh, there it is. There it is. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I want to see how far I got. That's how much time I put into the game. Nearly 3 damn hours. Will I go back to this game? Maybe. I've played, seen, and heard enough to know that this is definitely the second best of the 3 when it comes to its soundtrack. It's the perfect balance of the eerily smoothing soundtrack of Silent Hill 2 and the unsettling metal clanging sounds heard in Silent Hill 1. Regardless, it still has some bangers. So let's get into the list. This is the first game to have a title screen track, and they killed it with the vibe of Silent Hill and making you feel like you're gonna drop into a realm of despair. This track is just really emotional. The guitar is a really nice touch here, especially in the beginning to really emphasize the feeling of wanting. Wanting what? I don't know. Now, this is the first lyrical track of this entire video, since Silent Hill 3 is the first time they incorporate lyrics into the OST of the game. And honestly, it's pretty damn good. Melissa Williamson really makes her voice fit the unsettling and sad vibe of Silent Hill. And she sings some of the best material of Silent Hill moving forward from 3. It also fits that it's a woman singing. It's almost like Heather's inner thoughts are intertwining with the tracks. And it's a really nice touch for a game centered around themes of womanhood. This is yet again a track I did not know originated from the game. The first time I heard it was from the live action movie Yet Again. Makes me regret not playing this game sooner, but this track is amazingly ominous and low-key iconic as well. Now this sounds like true Silent Hill core. Every part of this gives you that feeling of uncertainty and uneasiness, but weirdly calming. I honestly love the second half of this song where you hear the person harmonizing with the track. It just gives that extra oomph. I'm a sucker for harmonization in my tracks. Now, I may sound like a broken record right now, but these recent tracks really work well for all the same reasons. The piano on this track just makes me feel so relaxed, and with the bass, just makes it comfortable to listen to. Definitely worthy to start the top 5. Now this track has a slow start, but once it gets going, it gets going. I always imagine going on a car ride at night with this playing in the car. It's so peaceful, especially before it ups the tempo with the piano, but even then, it's still really good. This track is definitely the outlier track for this game. Doesn't sound eerie or really Silent Hill-esque, but it's still a damn banger nonetheless. And it's one of the first tracks of the game, so you get blessed with this pretty early. Did you think I would put this in number 1 because it's the intro and Melissa singing it? Well, you're half right. This is probably the most iconic track for this game and what people hear when they think of Silent Hill 3. Since even I heard it before I even really started getting into Silent Hill for real. Silent Hill intros keeping the tradition of having fire openings. Yo, Melissa really put her all into this shit, and it really shows. Holy shit, this is so good. Her vocals are really put on the forefront here, and she kills it. You feel her emotion with the impact of her voice, and the guitar in the back is just, oh, it's so good. This track I actually wasn't aware of until I looked back at Silent Hill 3's OST. Definitely going in the playlist. Thank you, Melissa. You God. Well, there you have it. My top 10s for each of the OG Silent Hill games. The Silent Hill franchise is probably my all-time favorite soundtrack. These 3 games combined have the most eerie yet soothing soundtrack and provide a happiness and solitude that I just don't get from most other games. Am I biased? I mean, kinda. I dead used to go to sleep to these soundtracks. Daily! Shout out to Cry Cafe for helping me in my sleepless nights. If y'all fuck with the Silent Hill franchise, let me know what your favorite track is from any game, even if it's from a game I haven't mentioned. I'm aware that Silent Hill 4 also has some bangers, but I just don't know enough about it to talk about the OST without knowing the context that they're played in, since I haven't played the game. Also, if you have any recommendations for OST that I should check out, please put it in the comments, cause I love me some good OST. Make sure y'all like and subscribe for more top 10 OSTs, cause I definitely will be making more in the future, and I'll see y'all till then. Peace, y'all.